the event. Awesome. Thank you, Jenna. So we're going to record this event for those who could not join us tonight. So we'll go ahead and get started, friends. Okay. That said, hello, Emily, and welcome, team. My name is Ashley Stevens. I am with Blue Star Families as a senior manager of family impact programs. I have the honor of overseeing and leading our Blue Star Connect Outdoors program across the country and working very closely with this phenomenal team who is a part of our Military Families Outdoor Initiative here at Blue Star. That said, we're going to do some quick introductions of our team. I think since it's a smaller group, I would love to actually go around the room, Red Robin, just share your name, where you're calling from, your role. And today's theme, we're really talking about access to the outdoors being feasible, free, convenient as you're traveling, especially as a military family. So I would love to hear something about maybe your favorite outdoor activity that you've done, maybe let's say the last 6 months as a fun little icebreaker for today. So I will go Red Robin around the room and I will start with Miss Molly, please.
Hi. Yep, my name is Molly. I am with Wilderness Inquiry. I'm the Day and Military Families Program Coordinator there. And we work really closely with Blue Star Families to bring some awesome programming to military families. I am the mom of a veteran. That's my military connection. And I am very passionate about connecting with military families and helping them, get outside and just bond together over being out in our natural world. And what was I supposed to say? Something about something the
Favorite outdoor activity you've
oh,
done the last 6 months?
okay. Well, and I'm calling from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been section hiking this trail in Minnesota. It's called the Superior Hiking Trail, and it's 310 miles long, and it's in northern Minnesota, starts in Wisconsin actually, and it goes to the Canadian border. And so, um, decided to do this as a little gift to myself. And so every once in a while I get out and just on Saturday I went out and did my next section. So that was really fun and challenging. And I saw tons of birds and totally nerded out over it. So that's the best thing I've been doing lately.
Awesome. Thank you, Molly and team. As we're doing quick introductions, um, our team is also putting our professional bios in the chat, so you guys can also read a little more about what we do professionally outside of this meeting today. Next, I would like to hand it over to our panelist, Rebecca Toy.
Thanks, Ashley. My name is Becca. I work for the Washington office of the National Park Service, and one of my program areas that I manage is our various military engagement initiatives, which includes Military Families Outdoors and some other work that we do with Blue Star Families and other partners. I'm also a mom to a toddler who loves to share her germs. So sorry that I sound like a frog. And recently, I'm duty stationed in a park, so I like to go on trail runs on my lunch breaks when I can make it happen, despite the humidity that is state of Virginia right now. So, big fan of that.
Thanks, Becca. We're honored to have you here with us today. Next, I'd like to introduce Carrie.
Thank you, and thanks for having me. I am currently the Child and Youth Programs Manager for the Armed Services YMCA. I'm also a proud 30-year Army spouse. My husband just recently retired, though, so we have relocated to South Carolina. So we are super happy to be in this next stage of our lives, but both of us still very highly connected to our military communities and very highly involved in that aspect. I have two kiddos, grown, but our favorite outdoor activity is we just recently purchased our, as you call it, the military, our forever home on a lake. So we are enjoying kayaking and paddleboarding and boating and fishing. So nature is part of our everyday activities here, and we are really, really enjoying it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Carrie, on retirement. Sounds like
Thank
an
you.
amazing transition. So thank you for sharing that tidbit. And then last but not least, we'd like to introduce Michelle Black.
Hey, my name is Michelle. I am the outdoor leader for the National Capital Region. So I live in Alexandria, Virginia. I have four kiddos. My husband's active duty Navy and soon to be retired this coming fall. So that's super exciting for us to transition. So, Carrie, love hearing that. A recent outdoor activity. I feel like I could list a bunch of them, but I will go with the most recent one. So before I got on this call, I took my little portable hammock and was out at the park reading a book, just staring up at the trees. So a really easy one, but man, it just felt really good after a super busy week. And I think that is about it. I'm sure we'll kick it into more stuff as the call goes on.
Awesome. Thank you, team. Well, I love that everyone here speaking is fully immersed in the outdoors and love the outdoors passionately, both professionally and in their everyday life. So thank you guys for all being here. So moving into the next part of our discussion today, what I really would like to capitalize on is all of the knowledge this team brings to the table in addition to the passion of the outdoors. We have a few discussion questions I will bring. I'm really looking forward to hearing how each organization partners and works in the outdoor spaces. Each role looks very differently, but they all really do apply to our military life and connecting it to our military life, especially during this busy PCS season. So, our first question and discussion topic I would like to start with today is the using nature as a reset button and why does the outdoors matter to military families? So, I'm going to turn it over to Carrie to start this discussion. Carrie, can you talk a little bit about why the outdoors matter for our military families?
Definitely. So, as we all know, nature is a powerful resource for our mental health, stress relief, and just building that family connection, especially during those challenging and stressful periods in the military lifestyle, like deployments. Maybe it's just a long-term separation due to job commitments, PCS moves, or any other type of unwelcomed transitions that we face, sometimes knowingly and sometimes unknowingly. Those things pop up in our everyday lives, and spending time outdoors offers military families kind of that low cost but high impact way to recharge and reset our mental health, our well-being. So you all kind of mentioned some of those easy activities that you could do. It doesn't have to cost a lot. It doesn't have to be a big production. It can be simply going for a walk, stargazing in the evening, having a little picnic outside with your family that creates those memories and helps build those bonds that we so desire, especially in the military when we know our military family member can be in and out of the household more frequently than we would like. So using nature to support that is really important, and I really encourage all of us to kind of unplug, reconnect, and use this summer, even though it's PCS season and everybody's busy, but try new outdoor experiences together. And it doesn't have to be hard. It can be very simple. But those are some of my recommendations, I guess, to kind of hit that reset button and just re-engage and be together outdoors. No responsibilities out there.
Thank you, Carrie. And I really appreciate that. Here at Blue Star and with the Military Family Outdoors program, we're really focused on the mental health aspect of being outdoors and being in that space. So I kind of want to shift the conversation to using the outdoors as for stress relief and also as a tool for mental clarity. And also, you mentioned, Carrie, family bonding. So I'm going to switch over to Molly. Molly, do you mind speaking a little bit about your experience with Boulder's Inquiry, especially watching the families bond and these outdoor excursions and trips that you oversee?
Yeah. So it is just so fun reading feedback from the military families that go out on our Wilderness Inquiry and Blue Star Family adventures. It is overwhelmingly positive and not too surprising. but there's just really something so special about having a shared experience in nature. It allows you to connect on a deeper level, and maybe it has something to do with not being in front of the TV or in front of a screen, but just sitting around a fire, listening to the birds, going on a hike. Um, we hear all the time about how it just opens up an opportunity for the perspective to shift away from feeling stressed. And there's a lot of stress in everyone's life, but especially for military families, there's a whole it's a whole nother level. And so it's just a great mental health boost. And the feedback we get is also, it's not just about the family to family connection, like within the family, is what I'm trying to say, but being together with other military families is huge. There's already that shared bond that everybody here already knows about within the military. It's the military family. But then being out in nature and doing something really fun together, like going on a hike and seeing some cool animal or bird or something, it helps you lower your guard. And the yeah, we just it's one of my favorite things is reading about all these little stories that come back from these adventures together. So and Emily, did I just talk to you on the phone the other day?
Yes,
I
I was
was like,
at,
this is
I was like,
sounding
yeah,
familiar.
yes, we definitely did. Because I go on a trip next month and I'm so excited.
Yes.
Yep.
Are you you're going to, is it Colorado?
No, we're going to Wisconsin through Minneapolis. Well, the
Oh,
Apostle,
you're going to the Apostle Islands. Oh, that's
yes.
great. Oh, yes. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I'm excited for you to connect with other military families out there and experience all of this, what I'm talking about right now, what we're all talking about.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. All right,
That's
that's all I got.
Thank you, Molly. Yeah, we are really excited about sending our military families to national parks this summer. We have families from all across the country traveling. So we are in the midst of booking those arrangements, and we're just really excited to take families to meet other families, but also to experience the national parks in a way they may have never had access to before. So we're really excited and proud of that initiative. And Emily, we're excited to have you to be a part of it for, but we also excited to hear about the afters, of course. So that's a perfect transition to our the next discussion topic. Going to Becca, I really would love to hear, Becca, about the national parks role in mental health and stress reduction and the outdoors work that you guys do.
Sure, thanks, Ashley. I'll quote one of my former colleagues who always said that parks are good medicine. I think we all know, right, that if we spend time outside, we start to feel better, right? But what I think is really neat about that is there's actually science to back that up. So, like, we know for a fact that just spending 5 minutes outside can improve your mood, your self-esteem, relaxation, and that frequent exposure to the outdoors reduces anxiety and depression and promotes a sense of well-being, among other things. Like these are documented impacts of spending time outside. Another statistic that I like to share with families who are raising kiddos is that spending time up just 20 minutes in nature can help improve concentration and reduces the need for things like ADHD and ADD medication in kids. And again, it's a documented positive impact of spending time outdoors. And it can also improve your overall health. So just 30 minutes in a park can improve heart health, circulation, lower cholesterol, blood glucose, blood pressure, right? So all these things that we feel when we feel good when we're outside are very, very real and have immense positive health benefits for all members of our families.
Awesome. Thanks, Becca. I appreciate that. So going into, continue this conversation, I would like to introduce Michelle, and she has worked with all of our families in these outdoor spaces through programming. So taking all of these statistics, taking all of these known facts that we've learned through research and through our experience, and Michelle, I'd love to hear what you see happening at your programs as families are connecting outdoors through our military family outdoors programs.
Yeah, it's super cool because I have worked with wilderness inquiry and national parks. So, like, I'm the perfect kind of meeting point of Molly and Becca, what they're speaking about. So, It's really cool because I also have been the lead for a cohort. So I get to see these families again and again and again, and I get to watch them kind of connect with each other and build bonds. And then I get to actually hear, and we have such a good like friendship and relationship now that they're like, oh my gosh, like this happened, or that I noticed this. So our just most recent one, which was just a week ago, so everybody in our cohort is National Capital Region, so we're coming from DC. It is stressful. Driving is stressful. Everything here just seems to be like a little heightened. um, so driving to Shenandoah, which is about an hour away from here west, the drive there starts in DC. It's insane, highways and busyness. And then as you get there, the mountains slowly start to appear. So I had one of our members who has been with our cohort since last year, just express like how she noticed like she was really tight and tense as they were leaving. And she was like, and then slowly started to notice her shoulders, just like her actual physical body having such a visceral reaction to just seeing the mountains and like the traffic slowing down and the lane coming to one lane instead of 7 8. So it's interesting to see those like little shifts, and people, the more important thing, people noticing those little shifts, right? So like we say all these things and we know all these statistics, but when you experience it for yourself, then that's when it really clicks into place. You're like, oh wow, like it's not just science in a book. So we love to kind of like hear those stories from people, and that's just the most recent one. But even when you like talk to people, and we were talking one time and I was like, oh well, what do you picture when you think of a restorative environment? What does that look like for you? No one named an indoor environment. It was the beach, it was the lake, a river, like a mountain. Like we innately know these things and people can feel them, and our world is just not built for us to find those places easily like it does. Sometimes there are a lot of barriers in place for people. So seeing families just come outside and connect through that is amazing. We've started building in more picnics into the time. So really just designating like, oh, okay, well, we have an hour where you don't have to do anything. And like, how rare is that to tell a military family, like you have nothing to do for 1 hour. And it might, you can sit and like eat lunch for that whole hour, or you can just hang out, go for a walk, explore the park. So giving people the permission for having nothing is pretty impactful. And I've watched people really struggle with that, to be honest with you, where they feel kind of anxious or unsure because they don't really get that permission very often. And I've watched them soften over time, like, oh, okay, like, oh, we have like an hour for a picnic, and I watch like the kids go play and the adults just like kind of sit in a chair. And it's amazing to watch people just physically, their bodies relax, because you can see it from the beginning of an event to the end. Like, oh, wow, you actually look physically different, and like you feel lighter. And it's really fun to get to witness these things.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. I have to give a quick shout out to my colleague Kayla, who's on the call. She always texts me, Ashley, go touch the grass. Because we sit in front of a computer, and you're right, the world really isn't always built for the outdoors. And she always texts me, hey, it's time to go touch some grass, go take a break. So yes, we use the outdoors even just interpersonally, right? And help us build our friendships in addition to, strengthening our family. So I had to give a quick shout out to Kayla for encourage me to practice exactly, Michelle, what you were talking about. So I would like to switch gears and talk a little bit more about outdoors and the PCS experience. As we know, we are in the midst of PCS season. Our families are relocating all across the country by the thousands. And this can be an extremely stressful and also a really scary experience for our families, going from a place that they have created a home in with their friends, their community, and their parks to a brand new place that they may not know much about. And if they have, sometimes it's not always positive. They may have heard the horror stories. So that trying to break through that, but also find peace at home in their new duty station is something that we're really passionate about here at Blue Star and with our outdoors programming. So that said, shifting the conversation to that PCS mindset, I'm going to turn it back to Carrie. Carrie, can you talk about keeping the outdoors wellness habits just going on with your family, even through the midst of 30 years of service and multiple PCS experiences?
Definitely. So, as a military spouse and mom, I know how important it is to get outside in nature, especially during the PCS season when your normal routines have kind of been thrown out the window. You just don't have the same energy level, you don't have the same time. You don't have the same resources when you're in the middle of a PCS move, and mobility is part of military life. But the one consistent thing we can do is be outside. That never goes away. It's always there, wherever we are. So creating that kind of stability of always having an outdoor experience in the palm of your hand is really important. Especially, I've noticed a lot of us on the call. I still have young children, so you know that long car rides, it gets very tiresome. Sitting in hotel rooms during a PCS season gets very tiresome. So, I've learned a lot throughout this partnership with Military Family Outdoors, and I've learned some great tips and tricks to try to stay focused on my own personal health and wellness and that of my family's, and really taking to heart that you can enjoy the outdoors anywhere and any way you can. It does not have to be a planned trip. Emily, yours sounds amazing, but it doesn't always have to be that involved. Simple outdoor experience, because like I said, can be created anywhere and anytime. You might have the ability just to go walk in your neighborhood, or you may just have to load the kids up in the stroller and walk the hotel parking lot. But you're still getting outdoors, you're hearing the birds, you're seeing the clouds in the sky, and you're really connecting with your family, no matter where you are. So just getting out, doing a hike, doing a walk, take some games outside, is even a great thing to do. You don't have to sit inside to play checkers. Take your board games outdoors, and like Ashley said, just touch the grass and really kind of get grounded. But like I said, things don't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be this great major planning event. When you're PCSing, there's no time. There's no time for that. So, I kind of challenge us all to use this season, explore your new environment wherever that may be. And consistency matters more than location. So just getting outside, being outdoors, really, I think it was Jenna who said, you can just feel your body relax. You just know that that this PCS season will come and go, and you'll get back into your normal routine. But use nature to help ground you, and let some of the stressors of the day and of the season pass. And if you can do that every day, you will feel yourself be able to relax just a little bit.
Thanks, Carrie. And yeah, I mean, I really love the creative part of outdoors. And I'm actually going to switch. I know that we have our outline. I'm going to switch actually to bring it to Michelle to talk about the creativeness that happens in the outdoors. Just because this is also in Michelle's powerhouse of her amazing skills that she does outside of our work. But Michelle, can you talk more about the creative ways that we can make nature activities portable as you're PCSing in simple ways, especially those who may be on a tighter budget while moving? Would love to hear some of the ideas that you've implemented or some you like to see other families implement in their PCS journeys.
Oh my gosh, yes, this is so my wheelhouse. So I also have a background in art, and art outdoors has been so much fun. And it doesn't have to be painting or anything fancy. It can be, a pencil and a paper, and you can make it work with whatever you have. I like to keep a little kind of bin in my car. In my car, I have chalk, I have paper, I have just some pencils, but you could go crazy and get some other things in there. Do not put crayons in your car. They will melt. It will be a mess. But any other kind of like art things out there, and taking those outside and drawing nature and allowing yourself to look at a leaf closer than you've ever looked at it before. It is incredible. It's remarkable, the things that you're like, oh my gosh, I've never even noticed that this leaf had edges on it. I walk past it every single day. So changing our awareness also can just like settle your brain in a really unique and different way. And there's science for that too, Becca. I loved all the science that you brought to this call. So that's like one kind of simple way, taking art outside, right? Another way is to do it a little bit differently, where you're like, okay, we're going to go on a walk, and our goal is to find a rock to paint later. That's a really cool way of just like finding a different park, maybe exploring that and finding a rock. Maybe it's going to be hard. It depends where you are, right? Maybe it's going to be really easy, but having a goal in mind, and it doesn't have to be a rock, could be a pine cone, could be a leaf of some kind. iSeek is a really cool app. So if you are picking leaves in a place that might have like a poison oak or a poison ivy, that's a really cool app for taking a little picture of a plant and knowing what it is. Which segues into another idea. You can use an app on your phone. There's really cool constellation apps as well to use at nighttime, where you just point your phone at the sky and it tells you the constellation that you're looking at. Then boom, you're reading about all of this stuff and you're connecting in such a different way to the world. Man, nature is a power source. It can be anything that you want it to be. So taking a hammock outside, like I did earlier, that was such a cool investment for us. Having my kids take their hammock outside and read their summer reading book. That is an every year event that we do. It's like, hey, grab your summer reading book, get on outside. So anything that you're doing in the house can be taken outside. Like if you think about like, I mean, Carrie had like amazing ideas already, but just like taking your meal outside, like, hey, like instead of sitting indoors at the table, let's go outside, let's eat dinner like in the shade. And I know in Virginia here, it's very hot right now. So I love to take my morning coffee outside. So sitting outdoors just in the morning and listening to the birds, oh my gosh, it is one of the most relaxing things. And you're never alone when you're in nature, right? So like PCSing or whatever the military might throw your way can be really isolating and you can feel really alone. And when you go out for a walk by yourself in nature, you are never by yourself, right? There's like trees, there are birds, like there is so much happening, so much life around you that it can feel really comforting just to be outdoors instead of sitting in your house where you are alone. Like there's not really a lot. There might be like a screen or some form of connection there, but just going outside has just like that essence of like, oh, I'm surrounded by the living world. And yeah, it doesn't feel as isolating for some people. Definitely for me, it feels really good.
Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I love that the chat is blowing up right now, team. I see also the other comments going in. So, kind of, spinning off that, Michelle, like it is so much fun to see how creative everybody uses the outdoor space and how everyone has found unique ways to tailor the outdoor spaces to meet their needs, their family's needs, their children's needs, their community needs. So I really can see the magic happening and the brainstorming and the sharing of ideas. So thank you, team, and thank you, Michelle, for talking about the art in the outdoors. As everyone on the team knows, they know I love art as well. It is so accessible. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive, and it's just so much fun to watch grown adults sit down and paint with their children at the table, and they say, wait a minute, I haven't painted in 10 years. This is so much fun. So it's just really cool to bring two wonderful worlds together. So I'm going to continue this conversation, and I'm going to bring it to Becca. We're going to talk more about access of the outdoors, and Becca being working with National Park Service for many years. Becca, I was curious to see if you can share with us. There's two topics I'd like for you to speak on. It's finding green spaces in your new duty station. How do you do that? Where do you go? Where do you even start? And then also, what other resources like NPS and other locators can they use for families to locate local parks and even national parks in their community?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Ashley. So one of the things I always like to remind people is that there are over 430 national park units in our national park system. There is a park in every state in the United States and all of the territories of the United States. And so I think sometimes when people think of the National Park Service, right, they picture Yosemite and Yellowstone and Grand Canyon, but some of the most visited national parks in our system are actually here in the East, places like the Blue Ridge Parkway, Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and they're much more accessible to a lot more families. So one of the resources that we love to point military families to, which I will drop in the chat, is www.mps.gov/military. So this resource has a map that actually shows all national park units in relation to military installations across the United States. So you can literally pinpoint on the map your new duty station, and it will show you all of the national park units that are nearby, and it'll give you the link to go to their respective websites. Another pro tip for navigating your local national park site is that all national park sites, their websites are organized exactly the same. So once you figure out how to find, you know, information on the Junior Ranger program at Shenandoah, you can find the Junior Ranger program at Great Smoky Mountains too, because they're all in the same place on each park's website. We also have just like a general resource, which is www.mps.gov/find a park. That won't show you military installations, but it does allow you to organize your search based on like topic if your family has something that they're really passionate about. And it allows you to sort by state. So if you're PCSing, for example, you can track park sites along your journey without having to toggle back and forth from Google Maps to mps.gov and back again. But there are also plenty of other federally managed public lands. Our partner agencies like the U.S. Forest Service, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Bureau of Land Management, they all administer tons and tons of public lands, and your military passes will get you free entrance to anything that's administered by the federal government. And the other thing that I always like to remind people of is that just because a national park site is preserved for one thing doesn't mean it doesn't also have green space. So for example, I used to work at Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania National Military Park in Northern Virginia. It's a Civil War battlefield site. It's also 8,000 acres of green space and walking trails in Northern Virginia. So just because a site is, for history doesn't mean it doesn't offer a great opportunity to get outside. So those are also, I think, great places to look for because they are all over the United States. And, not by accident, a lot of preserved battlefield sites are nearby to active duty military installations.
Awesome. Thanks, Becca. Yeah, we love our national parks. We love our park rangers. And I think one of the most profound pieces that I've experienced thus far working with National Park Service is that every time I meet a park ranger, they always say, "Welcome to your national park. This is your national park. This is your land." I've experienced that in every park I've gone to. So there's just such a welcoming community the moment you even mention national parks, even in a conversation. With park rangers and with people who support the park services. So thank you, Becca, on talking on that. So that said, I really would like to go to Molly. So as we're thinking about visiting parks, I also want to think about what's closer and more accessible to our families as they PCS. And Molly's team does a lot of work with destination trips and outdoors, but also nearby nature. And so, Molly, can you talk a little bit about what's the difference and how families can plan for either or and be flexible in their planning to do maybe something in their local park down the street for a weekend, and then where they can start to do something bigger if they wanted to go visit one of these larger national parks?
Sure, yeah. I mean, through Wilderness Inquiry and our partnership with Blue Star Families, we do a number of various trips. And as Michelle was mentioning earlier, she works closely with us, specifically with our canoe mobile, our national canoe mobile, which tours around the nation and offers up opportunities for schools, but also we look for specifically for military affiliated schools or families that are military affiliated in some way. And we get them out canoeing in their local parks and their local waterways. So this fall, we will be heading out east. In the spring, we head out west. And it is free to all military affiliated people who can come join us. It's a fantastic opportunity. And that is a day adventure. So that's just, maybe a few hours. We have these large community events where the invite goes out and folks come and spend time canoeing, and then also oftentimes Blue Star families, or sometimes we will find other organizations that will come and they will do land programming and land education. We partner with the national parks. And so a lot of our programming locations happen at national parks, which is really cool. And then we also have overnight adventures that military families can join us on. And that ranges from Emily, as you mentioned, you're going to the Apostle Islands. That is happening in a month, I think, and that's so cool. So that's like 3 or 4 nights, I believe, and doing some kayaking and camping and having all of the supplies provided. And not only that, but having guides who know what they're doing and who can make it really accessible and take away the question about, how do we do this? And maybe I've never done this before, or maybe my child has never done this. And so it makes it really accessible. And then, yeah, we do have, sometimes our trips will go out to various national parks and have camping or hiking or lots of different activities. So there's lots of ways to get involved on a small level or on a very large level. And what we love is when we can keep families coming back and growing and learning and taking everything that they learn from these experiences and putting it into action in their own lives.
Thanks, Molly. And I've noticed too, like with these national park trips or these smaller trips, even if it's the canoe mobile, it just breaks the barrier of the outdoors to this new space. They just come for just a few hours. They've never been there before, but now the family wants to go all the time. So it's just really awesome to see, thank you for your team for leading that, but also within the community. If they see a community event on the national park website or maybe within their community, a field day or something like that, just takes that one time to get out there to kind of build that confidence in the outdoor space of like, hey, I can bring my kids here. This is safe. This is beautiful. And then you see families out there time and time again. So
Yeah.
yes, exactly. And being mindful of time, what I would like to do is bring Becca back on the call to talk more about the America Beautiful passes. This is a wonderful resource for our military families, both active duty and veterans. So Becca, do you mind speaking on that? And then we will switch over to an activity and wrap it up for the day.
Sure. Thanks, Ashley. So yes, best news I get to share is that military service members and their dependents, both active duty and veterans, are eligible for free America the Beautiful passes, which provide free entrance to all federal lands. So that includes National Park Service administered sites, but it also includes a lot of the other agencies that I had mentioned earlier. So if your family is active duty, you're eligible for an annual pass. So what that means is when you get your pass, it's good for a year, but then you can renew it for free every year that you remain active duty. And then veterans and Gold Star families are eligible for free lifetime passes. So once you become eligible for a veteran pass, you get to keep that same pass for perpetuity. Um, you can get those passes in a couple of different ways. The easiest way is by visiting a park site that has an entrance fee. Any place that has an entrance fee is going to carry all of our entrance passes. So like no need really to worry about it until you actually encounter a park with a fee. But you can also order them online at the USGS store, which I've linked here. And I think our passes are linked on the Military Families Outdoors main website too. So that's easier to navigate to if you can't see the chat. If you order the passes online, there is like a $10 service fee. So if you want to avoid that, just get it in person. And like I said, you don't need it until you need it. And when you need it, you can get it. So it's a win-win all around. And I know Ashley likes to talk about our Every Kid Outdoors program too, which in some ways can feel like overlap, but what Every Kid Outdoors is it's also a free entrance pass program specifically for fourth graders. It's one of the programs our office manages as well. And I mention it because it's a really great program for empowering kids to really embrace outdoor lifestyles. We hear all the time that kids love to feel like they're the VIP, right? They're the ones getting their families into parks for free. And like, how often do kids get to feel that way, right? I've heard of families who, like, when their fourth grader has their EKO pass, that fourth grader gets to pick the park trip that the rest of the family goes on. And so even though you don't technically need it if you're a military family, it's a great way to like really get your kids engaged in the outdoors. And when I talk about kids, I always have to mention the Junior Ranger program, even though it's not what you asked me about, Ashley. The Junior Ranger program is free across the National Park Service, and it is built to connect families with each other and with their parks. So when you go to a park, ask for a Junior Ranger program. It's the best.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Becca.
Ashley.
No, you're fine. I actually had the honor of going to visit Dry Tortugas National Park last month, and they were passing out the Junior Ranger books, and I asked for one, and the park ranger said, "How old are you again?" And I said, "I am a child at heart." And the book was just so much fun. I mean, it had facts in it, it had coloring books, it had all the statistics of the sea turtles in the area. Oh my gosh! So I'm on a mission now to take my son to parks to collect all the Junior Ranger books and badges all across the country. So wonderful plug there, Becca. Thank you so much. So, team, we do have a little less than 10 minutes. We did have some activities planned, but there is one I would like to do as a group before we end to bring Emily, Rebecca, Joanne into the conversation. There was just so much information and just a lot of joy shared tonight. So, what I would like for everyone to do is to take a moment and we're just going to take a moment to sit near a window. So if you're not by a window, or you can see a window in your peripheral vision, or if you can just think of a window, I want you to think of one thing in nature that you can see or you can think of right now that brings you a sense of calm or happiness. And it's going to be different for everybody. So take a moment. What is it? And go ahead and add it to the chat so we can share as a group when you're ready. So we have flowers, Cape Myrtle tree blowing, window is blooming. Julie shared her screen, the beautiful trees in the background, a new garden for Emily, the tree branches swaying in the breeze. Time of year the deer come out to the yard. The hibiscus flowers, the oak trees, spruce trees. I have a plumeria tree. Kayla says, I'm pretending I'm on a beautiful island with a beautiful view of the ocean and sunsets. Kayla, I would love to be that right there right now too. We love to watch the wild animals, the deer, foxes, rabbits, hummingbirds. I mean, I think just thinking about these things just bring joy. And then also kind of thinks us, how do we get out there, right? How do I go touch it? How do I go smell the outdoors? How do I make that trip happen to be on a breeze, to feel the breeze in the trees? How do I get in front of a beach? So I really love the mental piece of the outdoors. It is with us all the time, and I love that you can use it as inspiration to kind of direct what you do next. So as you're thinking about weekend plans, as you're thinking about summer plans, it really can be as simple as let's go draw a picture of the tree. Oh, there's a lake down the road, and I know that there's some fish in there. Let's go identify some of the fish. I know birding is really popular. Let's download that iNaturalist app and check out the birds that are in our local park, or maybe the birds screaming in the backyard that we just hear all the time. What kind of bird is that, by the way? So I really appreciate that. And just being mindful that nature is all around us. It is outdoors, it is indoors, it's as simple as the breeze. It's just always there. And like I think one of our speakers said it is we're never alone when we're outdoors. So with that said, I would love to kind of open the floor. I know we have about 6 minutes left. Emily, Joanne, Rebecca, and other members of Blue Star, if you guys had any questions for our panelists tonight, just want to put that out there. We'd love to hear any questions, comments, and bring everything back together for the end. And I do not see the comments. Did anyone have any questions or thoughts or something they'd like to share? Of
I have a question.
course. Go ahead, Joanne. Floor is yours.
Couple years back, they did for like the kids. Um, sorry, I've been cutting the grass. I've been outside since like 10 o'clock. So I'm just tired. Anyways, they had like fish. They send us rods and just stuff to be outside. Are
Yeah.
they gonna start doing that, but for like teenagers or just for like caregivers?
Hey, Joanne, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. And it was actually the year after COVID, and we did a virtual outdoor programming actually with our Becca. That was directly through when we did the fishing. Our cooperative agreement with you all was through fishing specifically. And so we were able to send rods in order to do that, Joanne. And so all of our programming is honestly is thanks to our wonderful partners like National Park Service who are able to fund us to be able to do that.
Right.
So we are since being back in person, we have not done virtual programming like that to be able to send gear and things like that. However, that's not to say that that's something we won't do in the future. We will be sending, actually in partnership with Wilderness Inquiry, um, adventure kits. And so while it wouldn't be necessarily fishing rods, it would be gear that would encourage families to get outside and maybe help to remove some of the financial barriers with some of those tools and resources as well. And we're exploring areas to send those things to. So I put my email, I'll put my email in the chat. Email me,
Okay.
Joanne, and I'd love to be in touch.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you remember that, by the way. That was in 2021. I love that.
Golly. Okay.
I know.
I'm laughing like, oh my God, time has. Yeah, they're older. Yeah, but yeah, that would be nice. Just something. But then also now, they're doing their own thing. So I was like, even caregivers,
Yep,
just for
no.
self-care.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. I have some resources for you for that too, Joanne. And I
Okay.
also just love if we know where this goes for anyone, if we know where you're located, we have a bunch of resources and we might be able to connect you locally in your community with somebody who's doing a fishing program that is at no cost for our families to participate in too. And so if we learn again, send me an email, Joanne, and we can help connect you in your community too, and then see what we can do virtually from where we sit as well.
Thank you so much, Vicky.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Joanne. Is there anyone else? Any other questions, comments, thoughts, things I might have missed that you wanted to share?
I just added a link to the Military Families Outdoors site because we do have resources, things like a nature scavenger hunt. Some of these were developed, with the other partners. I think, Becca, there's some tips for like rangers for exploring the parks. And then also, the nature scavenger hunt and outdoor activity bingo and a bunch of stuff. It can be a little tricky to find. We're going to actually move that around, but let me just reopen up that site so I can tell you guys exactly where it is. It's currently located right around the map. It's kind of a brown header, but there's a whole host of things, some nature journal pages, and things like that. Let me just give an exactly. Yeah, it's a green button kind of under Explore and Unwind right above the map.
Thanks, Julie. I've actually heard about a family who'd used the template of the bingo card and they custom made it to fit their trip. So they went to the Everglades and they added a gator and mosquitoes and other really just stereotypical Florida things to look for. But they used the template and tailored it for their trip to find and hunt out these animals and plants. And they even added the center bingo card was shake a park ranger's hand. So it was really cool to see how they tailored what we created for their trip to best meet the needs of their families. So great resource. Thank you, Julie, for sharing that. I also want to echo Molly. It's so uplifting to have everyone on the call together. It's just awesome to be in a room with people who all share the same love and enthusiasm for the outdoors and for our military families. So thank you, everyone, for being a part of this call today. I know it was a small group, but we want to continue to bring the outdoors to everyone, both virtually and in person. I know that our team had dropped some links in there, so we are on social media. We are on, we have our Facebook group, we have our neighborhood group, we have our websites. Our team is very active on all the platforms. We are available via email, via phone calls. We are constantly trying to think of ways to continue to advocate for our military's families in the outdoor spaces. So if you have an idea and you say, hey, Ashley, I saw this really cool place in DC when I went to go visit. I think our families would love it. I would love to take that idea and take it to the outdoor leaders and share it with the families. So our team is very collaborative. We have a lot of fun and we're always looking for ways to amplify the outdoors with our military families. So that said, thank you guys all so much for being a part of tonight's call. This was wonderful. I am filled with joy and I just want to go outside myself now and enjoy the plumeria tree that's right there. So thank you, team. Go, as Kayla would say, go touch some grass and have a wonderful time. And Emily and Joanne, Rebecca, thank you guys for being here today, and our specialists and our speakers today. Thank you guys for dedicating some time this evening to share your passion, your knowledge, and your joy with our families. So that said, everyone, have a great night, and we will see you at the next one. And Becca or Jenna, we can stop the recording.